I finally got around to watching that Medvedev versus Zverev year-end championship final in Turin. A two-set victory for Alexander Zverev, 6-4, 6-4, snapping a five-match losing streak against Daniil Medvedev, winning his second career ATP Finals title and finishing the season with the victory, passing Medvedev as the overall ATP wins leader for 2021. So what changed here? What flipped the script on this head-to-head after losing to Medvedev in the round-robin stage, losing to Medvedev 6-2, 6-2 in Paris just a couple of weeks prior? Well, it was something I said in the preview. In these conditions, if someone gets outserved, they are going to lose this match. And this was an absolute bona fide blowout in serve effectiveness. Medvedev got schooled in serve effectiveness in this match. And Zverev, it was one of the best first serve performances I've seen from him ever. Here's why. I've seen him serve high percentages on first serve, and he did in this match, 74%. I've seen that before. But when he's done that, he's generally served at easier targets. He served towards the middle of the box. Doesn't sacrifice speed. He serves big at big targets. And in the past, that's been a good strategy for him. That's been a successful strategy. But in this match, not only was he serving big, not only was he making an extraordinarily high percentage of first serves, but he was hitting close to the lines. He was hitting his spots. All that in combination, it was going to be really difficult for Daniil Medvedev to break serve on a quick court surface, 800 feet of altitude, and what Zverev can do behind his serve as well. It was going to be a tall task. And then on the other side of the coin, Medvedev's serve wasn't effective at all. He served 15 percentage points lower on the first, serving 59% of his first serves in. But you know me, sometimes I find that percentage is overblown. And what's more important is effectiveness. And it was the effectiveness that was really missing for Medvedev. Even when the first serve was going in, there were no free points really, or not enough. I shouldn't exaggerate. Not enough free points for Medvedev. Zverev was on the returns, and he just wasn't making a lot of progress. He ended up protecting his first serve at a 74% rate, while Zverev protected his first serve at an 83% rate. But I think that number for Medvedev went way up in the second set when he started to serve better. In the first set, Zverev was really making an extremely high percentage of returns, 80% first serve returns at one point for Zverev, while Medvedev was returning at that point only 30%. That was towards the latter end of the first set. And I'd love to give you guys more stats, but something happened with Infosys this week where all the stats are down. So all I can give you is what Tennis Channel was able to give on the broadcast. Another key to this match was the forehand. And Medvedev was really uncomfortable on the forehand side, especially throughout in the start of the match. And Zverev did a good job continuing to accelerate on the forehand and to be aggressive on that wing, and also mixing in the down-the-line forehand, which has been the real key to Zverev's success, in my opinion. A lot of people talk about the second serve, and I agree that that's a part of it. But Zverev getting more aggressive on the forehand ever since the Olympics, to me, has been the most important thing in his increase in form. And in this match, he was able to come up with some really key forehands down the line, including one under pressure, serving out the match at 15-all in a neutral baseline rally, and Zverev hitting a forehand down the line that if I were his coach, I would just show Sasha that on repeat over and over and over again and tell him, if you can hit this shot consistently, you're going to be number one in the world and win majors, because that is a missing piece from his baseline game. And when he's able to hit that shot confidently, it brings him just to another level. Medvedev's forehand speeds were down were down a little bit, 2 miles per hour in the first set from what he had been doing in the tournament, and Zverev's forehand speeds were up 4 miles per hour in the first set. Again, good metrics by Tennis Channel that just kind of outlined the comfort level and the confidence level that both players were bringing to the court on their forehand sides. And this is an area where I think Zverev has the potential to outplay Medvedev every time they play, but it doesn't always work out like that. Medvedev can lull Zverev into more passive play when Zverev gets a little bit intimidated or a little bit passive due to Medvedev's court coverage. But in this match, he really did go after it, and he's a much better player when he does. Great acceleration, and he accelerates better than Medvedev on the forehand side. He just needs to use it. If you look at the games that Zverev broke serve in a match where there's 2 breaks of serve, they're worth going at. And it will highlight the very things I'm talking about, that Zverev served better and that Zverev hit his forehand better. 1-1 in the first set. Medvedev starts this game with 2 forehand unforced errors. Again, this was the part of the match where I thought Medvedev looked most uncomfortable on the forehand. The timing of it, the take back, the feet, everything looked disorganized and strange, and like he had no confidence there. So that made it love 30 in that game. And then on the very next point, he dropped a forehand so short and so weak that I could have attacked it. Clearly just lacking confidence on that side, and Zverev stepped in and hit a backhand winner onto the ad side of the court. Then at 15:40, Medvedev gets a good break with the ball hitting off the net tape and dribbling over for a clean winner. That was the break of serve in the first set. Zverev holds the rest of the way to 6-4. In the second set, the break came at love all, and in this case, it's less so the forehand and more so the serve, although you'll notice Medvedev got 0 free points in that 1-all game that Zverev broke. No free points, but he did make some first serves. Again, the first serve just not as effective as it needed to be. Then in the second set, love all, now Medvedev goes through a bout of missed first serves to the likes of which Zverev never did all match. Medvedev 2 of 6 first serves in play in this game. Zverev never had a game that bad when it comes to missing first serves, and that's the difference, especially in these conditions when 2 players who hold serve at such a high rate clash. So from 30-all, Medvedev hits an awful first serve to Zverev's forehand. Zverev punishes a cross-court return and wins the point outright off of that return on the very next ball. So a return 1-2 combination. That's one of the 2 first serves that Medvedev made, and he had to defend behind it, right? So the serve just absolutely hijacking the game. And then on break point, what do you know? Forehand unforced error by Medvedev. So serve, forehand. Interestingly enough, it's the 2 parts of Alexander Zverev's game that has been shaky at times, specifically the second serve and the forehand. So for him at this stage to actually win a match by vastly outplaying the world number 2 in those 2 categories is telling. At the same time, you have to understand what the ATP Finals represent. You have to understand that it's just one match and that a couple things are true. One, the way Zverev outserved Medvedev, it probably won't happen on a regular basis like this. It seems like more of an outlier. So Zverev is going to need to find ways to beat Medvedev in the future and not rely on just vastly outserving him. That's just not going to be a consistent way that he wins against Daniil. And second, when it comes to the year-end championships, while it's a very important title, an extremely difficult one to win physically, and by the way, shout out to Zverev's physicality and his fitness for going 3 sets with Novak and coming back the very next day on less rest than Medvedev had and being able to stay sharp physically. was impressive. So in all of these respects, it's a very difficult title to win, an important one, but it's had very little predictive value, as ever since Novak Djokovic stopped winning this event, we've seen a lot of different champions, and none of them have gone on to become world number one, and none of them have gone on to win multiple majors. And in many cases, the momentum hasn't even really transferred over to Australia. So it's a big win for Zverev, in my opinion, nonetheless. He needs to beat his rivals. He needed to break that losing streak against Medvedev. That was vital. But the question going into 2022 is more about, can Zverev play the brand of tennis that he did in this match on his forehand side, especially going down the line with confidence, accelerating consistently, protecting his second serve? Can he do that on a consistent basis throughout 2022? He's going to have a chance to make a push at both Daniil Medvedev and Novak Djokovic above him in the rankings. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.